Is it usually that price goes down before the options because they want to get it down to where most? So we're not seeing that obviously today. Price is grinding higher. We're above
It would have to
70,000.
get to fit, right. It would have to get to 50,000. So usually it would be like price is 40, max pain is 39.3, right? Or something
Right,
like that. And
right.
so
It's way
you see it
far
getting
out of
pushed,
there.
but we've flown so far above the people who were making those bets 3 months ago. Nobody expected all-time highs before the halving, right? So people were
Right.
comfortable making those bets, and here we are.
Once we clear this, do you think the runway is now open to, let's say, go up to 80 before the halving, or what are you thinking in that regard?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's going to go. I mean, we were already at 74, right? So 80 is a rounding error if you're looking at percentages when we see 5 to 10% Bitcoin moves on a daily basis. I just think that there's way more upside and tailwinds than headwinds right now, both in the market and fundamentally.
Wait a minute, everyone. Welcome to Bitcoinzilla, your platform for daily cryptocurrency analysis and news. Our mission is to keep it simple. Bitcoinzilla offers engaging information that is easy to understand. Our analysts keep their eyes on the latest news to provide valuable insights via email. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Join our community of 10,000 subscribers and experience the new edge with Bitcoinzilla. Subscribe now. In this video, they will share their insights on what are the top 3 risks for Bitcoin right now? Discover the potential pitfalls in the market. Everyone's waiting for a 10% correction. But will it happen this quarter? And what happens when it does? Is it usually that price goes down before the options? With prices soaring above 70%, what's next for Bitcoin? Could we see it reach 80 before the halving? Also, we will learn about the bullish sign in an options market, when you close in an expiration above a significant strike. Let's join them in this interview about these topics and more.
Just looking back at Bitcoin, Scott, and I'm curious myself. Needless to say, most people, I would say, it seems like 95% of people out there are bullish on it, especially after this options X. If you had to make a bear case, like what are let's say the top 3 risks for Bitcoin, right? I mean, as a trader, it's good to see both sides. What would you say were the top 3 risks?
Well, I think a massive outflow. It's funny because, we say the best marketing for Bitcoin, higher prices begets higher prices. Well, lower prices could beget lower prices if we saw major outflows on a significant correction. But we didn't really see that on the 17% correction, right? And even with these major outflows from GBTC, which are likely the unwinds we'll find out about from other bankruptcies like FTX, Gemini, and such, we saw very small dips. So it's very hard right now to imagine a specific underpin scenario where it would go down. I tilt to what Mike always says, which is like a major stock correction, some falling off the cliff of other markets. I think every correlation goes to one and things all go down at once. But historically, when that happens, Bitcoin gets the biggest bounce, right? I mean, even COVID, stock market doubled from the COVID lows. Bitcoin went up 17 times. So if you get that correction, where do you want to be?
Yeah. So I'm glad that I think that's the right answer. And the way I look at hot money, having been there, you guys I consider hot money, but I mean the highly leveraged, very big hedge funds, is they're all looking for that opportunity. Keep your powder dry, and then when you get that initial correction in beta, you pick out what you're going to shoot at. And that's why I want to see what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I just want to see, okay, if it's S&P, when it corrects 10%. Didn't say it. It's just a question when. Is it going to do it this quarter? Probably should. Maybe not. Maybe with sell in May, potentially. Does Bitcoin just correct 20%, which would be a major divergent strength? Does it correct 30%? Well, who knows? Which one's a buying opportunity? And which one's going to endure? If we have the S&P 500 correct 10%, and then you start seeing that global acceleration towards recession, which is happening already, and the Fed just starting to cut maybe 25, that is a global recessionary trajectory that I think it's already seen it in commodities. You see it in bond yields, yield curve, everything. That is going to be the test for Bitcoin. I think most people are sitting on and waiting, keeping their powder dry, playing with options, and just waiting to put on those big positions when we do get the opportunity.
Bitcoin ended Q1 2024 positively, setting records and sparking anticipation for more price discovery. Here are 5 key takeaways as BTC starts a new week, month, and quarter. Bitcoin ended Q1 with its highest ever quarterly close, over $70,300. Despite a pullback, this close is a major milestone for bullish sentiment. BTC is still trying to achieve price discovery, with old resistance levels from 2021 persisting. The $69,000 mark, a previous all-time high, remains a key battleground for buyers and sellers. As Q2 begins, market watchers expect possible volatile moves. Macroeconomic factors, including comments from Fed Chair Powell and U.S. non-farm payrolls data, add to the market's uncertainty. As Bitcoin hits new highs, long-term holders are increasingly taking profits. On-chain data shows a rise in realized profits, with long-term holders playing a significant role in profit-taking. Despite recent price changes, market sentiment is optimistic, with the crypto fear and greed index showing extreme greed among investors. This optimism extends beyond the crypto market, influenced by bullish trends in gold and stocks.
Interesting. Mike, what do you got for us in terms of Bitcoin? Do you have any bearish analysis for Bitcoin?
No,
All clear.
that's probably why it's going to go down. No.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you bringing back memories. The key thing about being an ex-reformed over-the-counter options trader, U.S. Treasuries in the 90s in New York City, is pin risk. And I remember sometimes I'd get lifted out of stuff. I'd be short calls or something on a day like today. I'd be at the strike, and it ruined my whole weekend because you're in the money, then you're out of the money. In the money, then out of the money because you're right at the strike. It's a pin risk. I assume the biggest strike is probably 70 grand. I don't even look at it. I deliberately ignore that stuff. But I really appreciate your comments. The key thing, the lesson I learned is when you move in an options market and you close at an expiration above a significant strike that has a concentration open interest, usually it's quite the bullish sign for the next move. So we'll see how that works. But that's just my memories of how those things work. I deliberately do not do that anymore. And I used to have hair.
Yeah, so really quickly for market makers and institutions, right now I'm just reading about this as Mike was saying it. He's correct. So on the hedging side, looks like the major strike here is 70,000. There's about 50 million of gamma, with the majority focused around the 70K strike. So if you're wondering if Mike knows what he's doing and he can call that blind, well, there you go.
It's one of those, it's the DI list, the deliberately ignore. But I got a few charts I want to show you. We'll start with Bitcoin. Just first of all, today, right now, record monthly and quarterly closes for Bitcoin, gold, and the S&P 500. The key question is where they're going to close at the end of Q4. And all we all know is if markets keep going up, Bitcoin will win. Typically, if history is a guide, volatility is a guide, the fastest horse in the race. The key question is at some point we have to get that back up in the S&P 500. It just give me a 10% correction. That's what I want to see. So as a trader, I would look to readjust and to pick up on stuff. There's one thing that I'm sure most people haven't seen yet is I want to show you this chart of MicroStrategy. If you take MicroStrategy in white.
Can I just jump in, Mike? You just said something, and I'm curious to your point, because you've been around for a long time on Wall Street. So you said, we're just looking for a 10% correction, give us a correction. So do you think that's partially why we haven't gotten it yet, because everyone's sitting back and waiting for that? And then the question is, when it happens, does it do a rug pull and go, like everyone's waiting, buys there, and then it flushes us all out?
Yeah, you get 5 or you get 20.
Yeah.
I don't get 10.
That's what I'm showing you here. It's pattern recognition. Things I've learned is you never want to be getting too excessively long a market that doesn't correct. Go straight up, particularly if the fundamentals aren't really that great. Now, if it does it from a very low level, yes, but all-time record highs. So this is what I show you, is the S&P 500 E-mini. We have not had a correction on a weekly basis of more than 1.5%, which is the first week since the bottom.
U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF have made a notable comeback, with 4 straight days of positive inflows after a week of outflows totaling $887.6 million. Here's a simplified look at the latest events. After net outflows from March 18 to March 22, 2024, totaling $887.6 million, Bitcoin ETF have bounced back. The last 4 days have seen a revival in investor interest, with deposits nearly making up for the earlier withdrawals. On March 28, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF, including FBT, BITB, ARAKB, and IBIT, led the wave of positive deposits. These ETF are also among the top holders of Bitcoin reserves, with their substantial holdings influencing the market. Excluding Grayscale's GBTC, which is a market leader, BlackRock's IBIT is the largest holder of BTC reserves, with over 252,000 BTC worth about $17.77 billion. Fidelity's FBTC, RK Invest's ARKB, and Bitwise's BITB also hold significant reserves, highlighting their impact on market trends. Despite its ongoing prominence, Grayscale's GBTC saw its holdings decrease from 342,607.61 BTC to 335,107 153.86 BTC in the 24 hours leading up to the close of trading on March 28. This sale of 7,453.75 BTC, valued at $525 million, indicates changing investor sentiment and market dynamics. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.